All right, so we are here at Real Talk Real Estate with Krishana and Nate. So, Nate, I heard that you were able to find your client $25,000, right? And then you were able to find yourself money for your own purchase. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'll just talk to my transaction. So there's a company out here in Richmond, California. It's a community housing development corporation where they have an array of down payment assistance programs, and I was able to leverage one of those programs. It's called City Lift, and the City Lift program gave me $20,000 that helped me with my purchase. And we're actually in my home, in my office right now. So yeah, that I'm very grateful and thankful for that program. And yes, I'm glad you asked about it because I feel like a lot of people need to know about these resources. Even though I've been in the real estate business for 8 years, I've heard of these programs, but it wasn't until this transaction and a couple of transactions that I used with my buyers that I really believed and learned that they are real. So yeah.
Okay, I mean, because real talk, there are a lot of programs out there, over 200, that people just don't know about. But when you get with realtors like myself or Nate, we can introduce you to what's going to fit you personally.
Exactly. And I like what you said. There is a specific program for you and your individual situation. So there may be a family that needs $50,000, right? With resources, it can happen. Whereas there can be another buyer that just needs 20,000, such as myself, right? I didn't need that much. And so one thing people don't know about these programs is that you can layer grants on top of each other. You know, you just have to check with your lender, check with the program, and make sure that they allow it. Um, for example, with my purchase, I got the city lift, and because I'm an African American, there's a Black Wealth Initiative, but it ran out. Like, so some of these you got to act fast because the money runs out. So if that hadn't run out, I would have gotten 30,000 and would have purchased this home with only $7,000 out of pocket. So I think it's a key to know that you can layer them on top of each other, and sky's the limit as to what you can get.
And that's real talk because I actually was referred a client who got $50,000 from CLPL. And you absolutely can stack grants on top of each other. And unless you are with the right realtor, you're not going to know these things because not everybody is equipped with this information. And that's what we want to do. We want to educate.
Yeah, I think that is what separates myself and yourself from other realtors. You might have someone that you see that's closing deals and they look, the glamour and the glitz is there, but do they have the resources for extra funds for you and your family and your friends that may be in need or may not have all of the money?
Let's
And the
go
question,
back to what you were telling me about, how did you feel when you were trying to get the grant for your own property? And what is that process going to look like for others?
okay, so that's a loaded question. Um, One thing I want to talk to is I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety. Can I do this? I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have a W-2, but the situation that I lived in and just the dire need to build wealth for myself and establish and have a foundation was bigger than my anxiety. And so with that, I end up outsourcing and finding a resource that gave me $20,000 that helped me, CDHC, and that's a nonprofit community housing development corporation that has an array of down payment assistance programs that are available. And I didn't even really know until I used it for myself. And I also utilize that program with some other buyers. And so now I'm a believer. And yeah, people need to know that if your money is low, your funds are low, that is no excuse. There's still money available to you. You just need to tap in with the
So, I
right.
mean, how do you feel about when people are like, all I can do is afford to rent? They could be investors themselves in real estate.
I'm really frustrated with some of the thought process behind that with people that are well able. If you don't take a leap and trying to obtain an asset, it means that you're okay with paying for your landlords vacations, paying for their kids' college tuitions and cars and so forth because you're comfortable paying that mortgage, as opposed to setting yourself up and your family up to build generational wealth for yourself and your legacy. And I'm not okay with that. I am not okay. I hate that for them. So that, and that's why I feel like it's a need for us to talk about these things, have these conversations, bring awareness, have podcasts and buyer home workshops and stuff for the community so they can know.
And real talk, these workshops that we have, that we offer, they're free. It's
All
free
right,
information. It's
three
free
ninety
knowledge.
nine.
And we're not gatekeeping. We are trying to share. We want to
Oh,
help.
that's not the end all be all. You still have to roll up your sleeves, literally, and upload your documents that you know your taxes, your bank statements, you know, get a copy of your credit, and all this stuff is going to be tedious and mundane, but it's needed because you're trying to get money, right? And I found that a lot of buyers and even myself, it was a heavy lift, but it was well worth it. And so I want to kind of like put emphasis on you got to do a little work. Nothing worth having comes easy, right?
Right.
So
Okay, so let me say this though. So there's a lot of people that don't know this, but if you go to a lender, say if I have a preferred lender that I know can help you in your unique situation,
mhm,
if they pull your credit, you have a 30 to 45 day window to shop around. That's really
yeah,
what it is. You're shopping around these other lenders to see who can get you the best deal, and
yeah.
your credit will not be
And,
affected.
and so, yeah, you're thinking about buying the biggest purchase of your life. So you want to make sure that you do your due diligence and shop around and get the best rate, or make sure that the lender works with you and has your communication style and all of that. So if that, it's well worth it because at the end of the day, you're going to find someone that has your best interest, and that's what's most important. Having a good team.
And I
And
like how
so
you said having a good team, because you're not just working with a realtor, and it depends on if you're buying or selling. If you're
you're gonna be working with your realtor's transaction coordinator with gathering the documents. You're gonna be working with the title escrow, right? They're the third party. They're very important. You want to make sure that all of the documents and the research is done for you. You're gonna also be working with.
inspection,
Right. And all, the three typical inspections: roof, pest, home inspections. And you can get any other inspection as well. They are all a part of the team for you, for your home.
that's right.
So, Black History Month coming up, I never really spoke to that. Just the things that we endured and what we were and were not able to do and we weren't able to purchase. Redlining, Jim Crow, steering. It's a lot of things that happen. Just considering what we weren't able to do, that's why some of these families we see are in the condition they are because their family didn't have homes that were handed down to them, and so they're just going through life struggling. Whereas the Andersons, their grandma and mother had a will, had a trust, and when they passed on, they gave them two or three properties that allowed them to get ahead, and now they're leveraging that, or either they're living in it or they sold it. But it's like me, if you have a family and you're not trying to buy a house to help your kids, what are you doing? Like it's like what are you doing for wealth? Like I know there's other means beyond real estate, but let's talk about it. Like I mean, it's the stocks because I'm trying to get into stocks too. I need to talk to your husband, but so that's an asset. But you know, 85 to 90% of the millionaires that have wealth is all based around real estate. So it's like, why isn't it important? Why isn't it not a need? Why is it not a dire need? Why are you comfortable? I don't understand it. And so
Yeah, and I
yeah,
mean you're right because there's two major things that is creating wealth today and has shown in history is real estate is number one, and then investments.
right.
So those are the two things that's building wealth for a lot of people, and we just want to redirect people with great information, with free information to guide them in the right path.
I went through
Yeah.
the anxiety. I went through that anxiety that people face. I think I talked to a young man that makes good money. He has 3 kids, and he's like, Nate, I have fear because I'm a single man. It's like, bro, you don't think I had it too? You are well within, you can make it happen. You just gotta jump off. They say scary money don't make no money, right? So that is the same with real estate. So
There's so many avenues to real estate. It's not just about buying a house or, there are other, you can flip land. People are
right.
not that is an untapped market. There is land out here right now in North Carolina for $25,000
Damn.
in an area that's on an upswing for greatness. You really want to get in with real estate agents that have connections. Like right now, I also partner with a soil scientist, and he can go in and vet the land, let you know how many houses you can put on the land, if it's good for a modular home, if it's good for RVs, if it's good for a single family home. And then you can purchase that land and then sell it for double because you've already vetted it.
And I need to buy some land. Man, for real. Quick question. So now with the land, can you finance the land or you have to pay for the land in cash?
You can absolutely finance the land. I have a lender right now that just told me an amazing deal
Really?
that if you get with me, you can purchase land up to it. You can get a loan amount for a certain amount, and your down payment is very low. And whatever amount you're thinking for the down payment is lower than that. Like it's amazing. Like there's programs, there's ways to start building wealth right now, and people are not taking advantage of it.
Well, they're gonna consider something after hearing us because we gave it to them today. I mean, this has been solid. We're gonna attempt to land the plane. Clearly, y'all see we fired up, but look, here are the takeaways. You need to either get some land, or you need to buy some property, or if you're not ready to buy, you need to talk to a realtor to set up a plan. You need to talk to a realtor to set up a plan to get your credit in order. But you really need to get your mind right. Like real talk, you need to consider your family, your future, your legacy. What are you leaving? What are you doing? How are you building wealth? Let's talk about it. Like, well, yeah, from what I knew, you can't get a loan on land out here, or it's hard to get a loan on land. So that's really good. I
So
know it's different places. This is Real Talk Real Estate, where we talk straight about real estate.
bringing you news, events, real life, and what's happening in our local areas, from the East Coast to the West Coast.
I'm Nathan Hancock, serving the Greater Bay Area of California.
And I'm Krishana Wilson, serving Eastern and Central North Carolina.
Catch us every other Friday morning on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.